if I can. Yeah. No mics are on. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm curious to know who we have with us. From different. I see screens, and so I wanted not to put everybody on the spot from an introduction standpoint, but I'd be curious to know who's with us and what the desires are of you all in terms of immersing yourselves in the business. So if you all wouldn't mind kicking it off, that'd be great. Oh, I saw somebody's blurb flash, but I think I missed it. Oh no. Let's see. I saw a comment come up, but looks like we're trying to uh-oh, I saw another one. Oh, hi Andrew. Okay, Andrew, nice to meet you. Um, yes, if you have any questions, if you can put them in I guess the chat, yeah, the chat area, that would be easier just to be able to see them, and I can read them directly off of the screen. I know usually with our students at 1500, there are a lot of them that want to be creatives, and obviously, we are, excited about that. But I'm always curious to know if there are any students that have desire to be in the business side of music. There's a lot of different career paths that are available, and so I think there's a large level of education that I try to do from the business side to educate my students on what those career paths look like, what are the roles and responsibilities of different folks that take, the art of music or the curation of music from start to finish. So happy to answer any questions about that as well, if there are any. I saw like one of them like pop up, but it disappeared. Oh, there was another. Say that again. Oh, I think we have to put them. Yeah. So if possible, guys, there's like a chat function, kind of like Zoom, on the left side. So if you guys are able to input your questions in that area, they will populate in the chat box, so I'm able to see them and read them. So I apologize if any of you have asked questions and I may have missed them. There we go. What advice would you give high school students to get started? I think that's a great question. I mean, I think one thing about creative paths is like there's no right way to get started. Like, I think that's the challenge, right? You have some stories of which you have, some friends of mine in the space who have done the right things, like at myself, as far as going to college, getting the internship and becoming an assistant, then becoming some type of project manager, etc. So there's a traditional route, right, in that sense from a business perspective. But then there's also sometimes where you have folks that just happen to meet someone while they're in school and seek out an opportunity that way and end up getting an opportunity that comes right into their doorstep. So I think ultimately for me, I'm always a proponent of letting the passion drive you. So find out what in the music space, what drives you. Is it the music itself? Is it the curation of the music? Is it marketing? And a lot of our kids now are digital heavy, right? In the digital landscape, and digital marketing is something that this generation has been raised on. So is that what drives you as far as how music sells by way of digital pushing? So just figuring out where the passion point is, and then starting to cultivate and do research in that space. So from a high school lens, especially, from the junior and seniors till about the freshman and sophomore years of college, that's all breeding ground and testing ground for whether music goes or not, ultimately. So we usually will use, especially with, our up and coming artists, we'll use that demo as a testing ground or a breeding ground to see whether or not the music will catch. So that could be a way too, to, be a sponge for finding new music, seeking out new things, and then doing focus groups with your friends. There's so many different, I don't think there's a right or wrong way. In short, to answer that question, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to get started. It's just a matter of where your passion lies, as it pertains to music itself. Now, as a creative, you can start wherever you like, I think as a creative, of course, I'm not a creative, but as a creative, if it's a desire of yours to continue on and be a member of a band or be a producer or all those things, I think practice is what, and just a method of getting in a groove and finding your rhythm and finding your sound is something that you're never you never outdated to work on, or that will never go out of style or never become unseasoned. So I think continue to build in that space. Hopefully that answered the question. I just saw another question pop up too.
Can you reiterate to the chat?
Yeah, if you guys can, I just saw another question pop up. If you guys can put the questions in the this chat function, similar to how you do in Zoom, so I can see them when they pop up on the in the chat function, and I can read them aloud. I saw a couple questions pop up like behind this screen, so it makes it just a little difficult to follow. And you guys are always welcome to come off your mics and ask a question too. That it would be great to hear somebody's voice. So,
Hey Lauren, Atisha Sessanel Valley, thank you so much. I was wondering, what do you like about the business side of music or art world?
ooh, that's a great question. You said, what do I like? Man, you know what? I think what I like is that I'll give you a contemporary example or a current example. This just happened to me. I'm working with an artist currently who is not necessarily a chart-topping artist, but he's culturally relevant, right? He's a part of one of the biggest groups to come out of the Northeast since the 2000s, and it was gonna be a hard push. We just put his album out last Friday. It was going to be a hard push for us to do it because it's not like he's not a radio artist. He's not, anything, unless you're tapped in on the culture side of things, you wouldn't really know, the value of the music. But because of our marketing strategy and our tactics and the way we approach the project, the music was incredible. And the overall just, pre-production work that we put into a successful rollout, we got a #1 album, and it's still holding at #1. And I think that's the part that I love the most, is that I didn't need a radio record to get a #1 album. I got one because I took the time to understand my artist. I took the time to understand what it takes to be a successful marketer, in that the story has to be told one way or the other. And so how do we tell it? And how do we tell it successfully? And we did it. So I think the fulfillment of the work that goes into it, when you're able to see the results of that and you're able to see the satisfaction from your artist, I think that's the good part. And that's the fulfilling part for me. And it was a first time for me. I'd never experienced that before. So I got a #1 album, which was pretty cool. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Great question. Somebody else's bubble just popped up. There's the chat function, guys. I'm going to keep reminding you about the chat function. Or you can just talk to me. You can come off the mic and ask questions too. We can have a cool conversation. I saw a couple of questions come up. I hate that I'm missing them. Anything else, guys? No? Yes, no, maybe? I see some more folks have popped into the room. I would love to know who's with us. Andrew, thank you so much for kicking off the introduction. but I would love to know who else has joined us. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them on the side chat function in this chat room function, so I can see them. Um, yeah, I would love to. I could continue to talk about myself, of course, but oh, I just missed it. What was it? I kind of let's see. Somebody just asked a question, but I'm sorry, guys. There's been like three of them, and I keep missing them. And thank you, MJ, for submitting your question too. This is a cool interface, though. Thank you, the grid, for having us. Maggie, if you can, if you have a question, Maggie, ask your question in the chat function. Oh, I see a class. Michelle.
Hi, we're a middle school class.
Hi.
This is actually a group of theater students, and my camera is currently set. We had a choreography workshop earlier.
Okay.
Wyatt just had a question. And Wyatt, nice tonight. What was your question? What music producer did you work with recently?
What music producers have I worked with recently?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, on this recent album, uh, so the artist that I'm working with currently is Conway the Machine. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the group Griselda. They're from New York, Buffalo, New York. Conway is 1/3 of the group. And on his album, I'm trying to think of some producers you guys might be familiar with. Hit Boy is one. Um, Alchemist is another producer that we have. Justice League, Derringer and Kill, and there's a couple more, but those are probably the bigger names you guys might be familiar with.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I have okay. Oh, okay. We got about 5 more minutes, guys. Thank you, Michelle, and nice to meet you guys in the classroom. That was cool. I got about 5 minutes, guys, so I don't want to miss any more questions. So please feel free to chime in. You guys are, come off camera if you want. It'll be cool to see some faces. Where did you get your something done? My nails? Oh, my nails. Um, my cousin does my nails actually. My cousin does my nails. Yes, I have a standing appointment every 2.5 weeks. I don't miss a nail appointment. Thank you for asking. Too funny. Oh, Nikki, it looks like. Uh-oh, did we lose you? I guess, do we have to go on mute for them to hear us?
No, so
No.
everything's leaving you,
Okay.
so we don't get any feedback.
Got you. Okay. Um. All right, guys. We got a full room in here too, so I definitely want to make sure I ask you guys, answer any questions or anything you guys might have. Um. Yeah, continue to also, I guess I'll just give you guys some, like, words of encouragement too, like, being a part of music and a part of the music business is not something that's like taboo or unattainable. I think growing up knowing that I had a passion for being in music and didn't know like into what capacity. I couldn't sing, I couldn't play instrument, I couldn't do any of that, so I had to figure out what part of the creative side of the music business I wanted to be a part of, and marketing is still considered creative. Graphic design, if any of you all do graphic design or any type of design work, any film, film and direction and production, all of those things are creative fields that can still be tied to music. So I encourage you guys, if music is something that you're passionate about, but you're also having, you also have talents in other spaces, by all means, please exercise those however you see fit. The sky's the limit. When it comes to achieving your dreams. So by all means, continue to do so. Especially if you guys are, what music genres do I do? I'm on the urban side. So rap, hip hop, R&B are my genres that I work on specifically. Yeah. Um, of course, not opposed to any other genres, but those are the genres that I work on directly. Um, and happy to answer any questions about that as well. Thank you, Aaron. Oh, it's applause. Does that mean everybody's leaving? Applauses and laughs. We got about 3 more minutes, guys. If there are any more questions. If not, thank you so much for joining. But I do want to make sure I maximize the time for you guys if possible. Any more questions? Any more? What was your first song? Remember wants to know my favorite. Okay, so my first song. Okay, first song that I worked on. Oh, I could say the first project that I worked on, where I got my first A&R credit, actually was Neo's sixth album, which was called Nonfiction. I did all the A&R admin for that album, so that was a big deal. And I was just starting out. I think I had been working in the label system for like 7 months at the time in like 2012 or 2013. My favorite rap song. That is tough. My favorite rap song of all time or my favorite rap song now? Oh. You know what's crazy? My favorite rap song right now is Super Gremlin by Kodak Black. That song is jamming. Kodak is shout out to Kodak Black. He, special kid, but the song is awesome. Do I like Eminem? You want to know what's interesting is that the artist, I actually am working with Shady Records, which is Eminem's label. So yes, I love Eminem. I have the artist that I just put the album out on is signed to Shady. So yes, I work directly with Eminem's label. So yes, Eminem is definitely amazing. um, these are good questions, guys. Favorite rap song of all time would be really, really, really hard for me. I'd have to think through that one, but yeah, I'd have to think through that. But who inspired me to do? I missed it. I think it said who inspired me to do music or work in music, do music. I'm gonna assume that was the question. Do music. Okay, who inspired me to do music or work in music? That's a great question. I mean, I think my family has always been rooted in music. Just as far as just growing up in our household, music was played. My older brother was a huge East Coast rap fan, so Jay-Z is actually my favorite rapper of all time ever. And so a lot of my inspiration as far as just business modeling and just quality of music and the things that I listen to come from just being a Jay-Z fan. But overall, just my family in general, my mother especially, was immersed in all types of music, and it's been kind of just a part of my makeup since I was young. So I think that's just something that I gravitated towards just as a kid and continue to develop a passion for it. So we're out of time. Okay. It is 12:45, guys. We're out of time. But I appreciate everybody. I do know Slick Rick's children's story. I don't know it by heart. I'd have to read it off the paper, but I do know. But thank you guys so much for joining. So good to see all of you. Continue to have a great day. Be blessed and hope to see you all soon. And take care. Thank you for having me. Bye, guys. Bye, bye. Oh, look at all the hands. That's so cute.